Hey there, this is Katherine, and I am sharing the pop-up Easter basket card set from Diamond Press. This is part of an auto ship from HSN, but it is also currently available on their website. You get a large stamp set that's basically two smaller stamp sets together. And then there are full color instructions, and this is all about Easter and spring. Lots of eggs in here and lots of sentiments about eggs. There are also the dies that are included to help you create this pop-up series of cards. And then also there is a previous one that is flowers. I'll link to that in the description. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some coloring here. I've stamped out some images and I am just going to color them. You'll need to remember when you stamp out this product specifically that you've got to leave room for these tabs. Each die that is part of the bouquet, so to speak, the basket, I guess in this case, last one was a bouquet, so the basket on this one, they have some little elements to them that have these tabs to let you put them together. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of marking them off a little bit. I'm going to just go ahead and do a really quick color of green on them. That way they just kind of blend together. Now there are these two little bunnies that are attached that will end up going on the end of the kind of the basket. I didn't really need to color those tabs, but I just went ahead. I hadn't made a card yet with the set. I just assumed that they would need to be colored as well, but they didn't. So that's the only modification that I would make is to those little bunnies that are attached side by side. They really don't need to be colored because you won't see that much of it. But I'm using some green here. This is the YG17 that I'm going to use the whole video. I did not do a lot of shading with this. This set has a little bit more coloring than the bouquet, the flower bouquet before it. That one was just, if I remember, it was just 4 pieces total and you just put them together. This one requires a tiny bit more coloring, but trust me, it is well worth it. If you like to send cards like this, I sent the bouquet to my mom and she loved it. And I've thought several times about sending more bouquets to friends. If I couldn't do a bouquet of flowers in person, this is a great way to send them. And of course, the Easter theme is super cute. So I've sped this up, and I'm going to just be doing the same green up and down. You could go back and do shading if you wanted to, but honestly, I just don't feel it's necessary. Some of the images are quite small, like on the eggs, there's some small pieces on it. And to me, that would just be a little bit too much labor intensive. But you absolutely could. That's what I love about these sets. You can do whatever you want with them. And but it's up to you completely. Any color changes, I just chose some spring tones for these eggs. I'm using E23 here for my basket. My marker is quite dry. I am discovering, you can't see it quite so much, but I can feel that I can barely get this over the paper. My nib is so dry. You can see it's literally drying before my eyes. So when I get here, I have to just stop and take a moment and refill that marker. I know I have several others that I need to do. You can see how much better it looks the few minutes that it took to fix this up. So I'm back in business now. This series of browns, I'm only going to use E23 and E25, but also E27. That's my favorite brown blending group in Copic markers. So this one is E25. I tried to put the caps in so you could at least see the numbers. I will list them in the description as well. I'm trying better to do that because people ask me and I have no idea. I don't remember. By the time I, make the video and get it ready, it could be a long time since I've created these items. So I am going to use E27. Looks like I skipped E25. But on the other one that I used, I know I only used E25. But anyway, my favorite blending group. And then I think I'm going to come back with E13 as my brown that I'm going to put in between the basket, kind of the weaving, so to speak. Just a very quick color here. And it's a fun color. You don't have to spend too much time on it. I'm going to work on my basket now, and I'm using E23, just keeping this very simple, and then I will do the other one as well. I'm going to color one of these baskets on camera with the eggs, and then I will just completely duplicate that off camera, because I know people don't want to spend forever watching coloring, but some people do want to see it. Some people want to see how it all kind of comes together. And so I leave these bits and pieces in so people can enjoy that if they wish. So I am using some blue here. So what I'm kind of doing is I don't really have a pattern. I'm just kind of grouping these colors together in my mind. That's how I kind of like to do these sort of projects, and thinking through of how they are going to be. Okay, so I finished all of these off camera. I have die cut them, and now I'm going to start assembling them. You can see there are the full color pictures. You will need them because the first time you do it, it kind of takes a second to figure it out. So I'm doing this a little bit faster on camera, but I do have another video as well on this process. So hopefully that will help you put things together. But these two tabs that are remaining, you don't want to glue them together. So I'm taking care, and I'm kind of glad it's green because you can see a little bit better how these are going to be. So I'm creating my basket by putting these same die cuts back to back. I'm folding down the little score line, and then I'm going to glue these back to back. These two pieces will slip together to create the beginning of my basket. And if you're using liquid adhesive, you definitely want to let these set up really well, so when it's time to assemble the card, they don't tear or anything like that. Okay, and you can see how they're starting to stand up there. All right, moving to the next page, I've got these cute little bunnies that are kind of hanging on to the egg. So cute. I'm going to glue these two closed, leaving those flaps. As you can see, they are not glued down. This is what is going to help put this box together for the finished card. And then I will flip over the outer basket, and they show you to turn it on its back, and then they're going to show you exactly where to lay down that cute little bunny with that tab inside. I'm going to lift this up and make sure that I'm really where I need to be. So it's a little blurry there, but I'm just making sure I've got a nice right angle there. Again, letting it dry really well. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and put my basket together. Everything is really nice and dry. And then I have all these tabs. It's going to take me a second here. You kind of work with it, and it will begin to lay down flat. And then, because you kind of have to move the tabs around to get it to go the way that you want it to. But again, full color instructions showing you how to do that. Okay, and then the tabs, those outer tabs, will need to come in when you're ready to glue down. And you can see they fold in. You're going to glue all of those white pieces. Or in this illustration on the left, you can see they've got it as purple. So you're going to lay those tabs down, glue them, and then you're going to add this to the center score mark. And I'm just going to take my time here, kind of fiddling around, making sure that slit in the middle is lining up pretty well with my my little box, my basket. And you also can see in the picture they have it closer to the top near the eggs as opposed to the bottom. And you can see how we are starting to come together and fold and turn into something super cute. Okay, I've repeated the same process. I have folded down those tabs. I'm bringing the bunny over, and then there's that additional tab. You're going to glue it to the box, and then you're going to cover the other side, which is going to make this adorable pop-up basket all about Easter. And it's really simple. Once you get it down the first time, It's so easy. I encourage you, if you have the set, just try a sample, kind of stamp things out. Don't really color it. Go ahead and die cut it. And then if you mess it up, it's not a huge loss. You've just stamped and die cut some stuff. Just to make sure you understand how it goes together. But it truly is easy once you get it going. All right, I have positioned my box where I want it to go, but I went ahead and stamped my sentiment. So I've got the bunny facing down. You can see the picture is very clear. That bunny is down, and then I'm going to flip it over and bring it to my center point, wherever I want it to be. If you wanted to have it a little higher, you could. It doesn't have to be exactly centered. As long as it's fitting in your card, it should be fine. Maybe you want to add different embellishments or something like that. You have a little flexibility where it will still stay within the card. But in this illustration, they've got it pretty much dead center. So I'm going to glue both sides down, and you need to be patient. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to let that kind of settle in a little bit, and then I'm going to close it down. And you can already see just how much fun it is. All right, so while that is drying, I'm going to work on the front. I have a piece of pattern paper that I have trimmed to 3 1/4 by 5. And then I have these little shaped frames in my stash. These are from Diamond Press from a while back. I think they came with some foam sheets. I haven't really used the foam sheets, but I have enjoyed the frames. They're quite large though, so it's a little bit larger for this card. So for this application, I'm just taking that center rectangle, and I found that it fits this sentiment very well. Here comes Peter Cottontail. I can remember many years ago participating in a program that was all about Peter Cottontail. I would have been in elementary school. And so while I was making this video, I was absolutely singing Here Comes Peter Cottontail. Just so cute. So bringing back some fun memories of a long ago youth. I'm going to take these same markers that I've had out, and I am just kind of randomly coloring. Again, I'm not doing a pattern per se. I'm just kind of lining up where the colors are going to go. That first row is just the 5 colors that I had out. And then I'm going to kind of mix these in. Again, not taking a lot of time. It looks so cute. You know, you could, if you wanted to use 1 color or 2 colors, it's up to you. But I think I'm using, 5 here. And it worked out really well. I got pretty lucky, and I didn't even plan on that. So happy accidents are a good thing in crafting. Okay, we'll finish this one up, and then this will go onto the front of my card for the recipient. And then when they open it up, they will get the fun surprise of that Easter basket. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to keep this flat. I'm not going to pop it up. I've really been surprised how flat overall these bouquet and baskets pop-up products have been from Diamond Press. I use a fairly thick cardstock, and I've been pleased that it pops up a little bit, but when you put it in the envelope, it is quite flat. And so that was a nice surprise that it fits so well. I've got a bunch of these eggs. The egg stamps in here have 3, and then the die is 1 die, but it cuts out 3 at a time. So you can get a bunch of them done. So I just stamped these and colored them and then die cut them out, and you've got a bunch of eggs very quickly. So I'm just kind of randomly filling this in. I will put my sentiment probably over to the left. I'm left-handed, and so I tend to write on the left-hand side of these kind of cards. But how sweet is that? And it really is very simple. Just do your coloring and your die cutting, and you have a very surprising card to give to someone. Okay, I have to make a couple more cards. I probably would have made 10 if I had time. I went ahead and stamped, colored, and die cut some more of these pieces. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create a couple of A2 size cards. So I'm taking this basket piece, and I have ink blended onto some cardstock, Salty Ocean and Mowed Lawn from Distress, just to kind of create a little scene here, an outdoor springy scene. I'm going to trim down these edges, And then I'm going to work on placing some of these elements together to build another Easter card. I'm going to cut apart the little bunny that's holding that egg, and then I'm going to just take a second here figuring out how I want to place this and where I want the basket to go. I didn't like it to the right. There was just too much purple in that one little bunny, so I'm going to switch it up, but again, I'm just kind of messing around here, figuring out how I want my placement to go. So I decide on the Happy Easter stamp, so cute, and I'll take that to my stamp positioner, and I will add some Gina K amalgam ink here, Obsidian, my favorite one, and I will stamp that onto, and it shows up pretty well between kind of the clouds and the top of my card. All right, now I will work on assembling this. I'm only going to pop up the basket portion of it because I don't want it to be too thick. This is some 1-inch adhesive foam roll that I got recently from scrapbook.com that I've been enjoying, and I'm going to add this to the front. But first I want to glue down my images, and then I will lay that popped up piece on top. Okay, and so now I'm finally happy where everything is, but I realized that I had failed to color the bow and one of my eggs. I didn't think too much about it. I didn't have tons and tons of yellow, so I decided to use yellow and just a little bit more purple since the egg on top had some pink and some blue. Just trying to balance that out a little bit. Okay, so let's glue this down. I'm going to glue these pieces down. And I know that the basket has a little bit of that slit in it, but you're not even going to see it based on where you kind of position it. And I think the eggs or part of the basket will cover it. And you just can't see it. It looks great. So I'm going to pull this up a tiny bit, and then I will come back here after pressing this down and add that basket portion of it. So you can take this and make it into an A2 card. I didn't measure this piece, but I'm assuming that this would work on a slimline. I didn't even think about that, that this piece could be long enough for a slimline. So I'll have to try that out and see if it fits. I didn't measure it. I'm sorry for that. I'm just thinking about that as I'm creating that maybe I could have turned that into a slimline as well. So I'm just going to add this to a piece of pink cardstock that has a similar tone to that pink. And that's it on that one. So cute. You could make it a lot of different things. All right, this one I have heat embossed on watercolor paper, white eggs all over it. And then I've been trying to kind of go through my stash and find some fun elements that I wanted to use. You know, we all get tired of using the same stuff, and I have a lot of little bits of this and that. So I pulled out this sparkle ink from Spectrum Noir and decided to pull these 3 colors out. I'll link them, the colors, in the description. I don't remember what they were called offhand. I'll have to look on the bottles. But I'm just going to take a paintbrush here, and there's a lot of sparkle. If you're not familiar with this, what I love about them is they're very concentrated to be a liquid, and then they also have a ton of sparkle. So I'm going to rinse my brush here, and then I'm going to add this next color in there. It looks really orange on camera, but it's not. It's got more pink in it than that. So the camera is kind of playing tricks on your eyes here. Maybe in the photo you'll be able to see it a little better. But you can also see how this shimmer ink is resisting that embossing, and that is exactly what I was hoping for. I wanted a really good resist by embossing that onto the watercolor paper, that it would really pop off the page. And especially with this blue, you can really see it. So pretty. You can see how concentrated it is. If you wanted to thin it out a little bit, you could add some extra water, because like I say, that's very generously pigmented. And so I love that. And I love these sparkle inks. I don't use them enough. It has so much shimmer. You can just see it kind of popping off the screen here. And you want to let that dry really well. You may want to take your heat tool to it and dry that a little bit. Okay, so now I am going to adhere this to a white card base. I've got so much color that I'm just going to keep my layering quite simple on this. And then I also pulled out that other little bunny that was part of the first card that I made using cutting those apart. I certainly wasn't going to waste that. And then the I'm so excited, that heart comes from also that same kind of frame set that had some foam on it. I don't think it's for sale anymore, and I just cannot remember the name of it. So I'm taking some more of my foam here, and I'm going to pop up the I'm so excited, and then I will add my little bunny kind of at the bottom there. I love the way the little bunny is holding the egg. Just so sweet. I think it just ties together pretty well. All right, and there is that card. So pretty. Okay, so that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm going to add one more little tiny touch here. I've got a Nuvo pen that has the tiniest little bit of shimmer that I thought would work well with that shimmer ink. And that's it. So here are the cards that I made. I hope that you enjoyed them. If you have the set, I hope you will pull it out and play with it. It really is a lot of fun, and just so much fun to create things, the little sweetness of the bunny and then those eggs. Let me know if you have a favorite card, if you liked one of them best, either the pop-up or the other two that I made just with the components of the set. And let me know if you've ever tried to make a pop-up card in general. Have you ever made one? Maybe from another company. There might be a pop-up set that you have that you enjoy. So be sure to like this video, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you enjoy things Diamond Press and lots of other brands. I highlight a lot of other brands, things that bring me tremendous joy in my craft room. And I hope that you have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.